Hi again. So, I don't really want to talk about my Bills game. Just let it go. So I wanted to finish up my talk about Mabon though. So let me start off by, in case you have not celebrated Mabon before, or you're not sure what Mabon is, usually it's one of two things. Either people celebrate it as the second harvest, or as the sun, day and night being equal. So it's the equinox. I do both, because it is both. A lot of people talk about the story of Persephone and Demeter. Her daughter Demeter gets taken to the underworld and gets married to the god of the underworld, and then is all upset, and then that's why things that are growing start dying, and they make a deal eventually where she can come back every year for a time, and that's why when spring comes back, that's when Demeter comes back. I like that story a lot, and I teach it to my kids and stuff too, but for me it's about the harvest time. It's pagan Thanksgiving, so there's a lot of stuff about what you're grateful for. As a matter of fact, one of the ideas that I saw that I wanted to use this year was, I wish I had a color printer so you could see this better. I don't even know if you're going to be able to tell what this is. This is a whole bunch of branches that were put into vases, and then throughout the season of Mabon, from Mabon until Samhain, you write on little ribbons what you're grateful for and tie them onto the tree, and it creates a gratitude tree, which they're all different colors and stuff. It was really pretty when it's in color, but so I thought that was a good idea. I might try that this year. The seasons being equal, I was looking for ways to show that, and one of the things that I really like about the equalness of the season is looking for labyrinths. So a labyrinth is a walk. It's a man-made thing that has been around for a long time, longer than any of us have been around for centuries. And these are two examples of them, but see how sacred geometry comes into effect here. And part of what you use the labyrinth for is to meditate. It's a walking meditation. You can do it with another person. I've done one with my husband before, where it helps you to reconnect to each other. You think about that other person as you're walking. One goes one way, one goes the other way, and you meet in the middle. Then you cross, and then you think about what you're doing for the rest of the way. You can think about being grateful throughout the walk of the labyrinth, and a lot of different places have labyrinths, and I didn't even know about some of the labyrinths that were around my area. So I found a site actually that you can look for if there's a labyrinth in your area that you can walk at, because it's a great time when it's the equinox to do that. So it is the labyrinthlocator.com, and it does it worldwide. It is, just in case you don't know how to spell this, it's LABYRINTH locator, LOCATOR.com, labyrinthlocator.com. And I found a bunch more. I found a great story from this local woman who lost her husband to suicide and created a labyrinth so that it would help her to heal on her own property. Really, some really interesting stories, and I actually would really love to build one, except we may anyways, but we're probably not going to stay in this house forever. This is a huge house that was my grandparents' house, and I absolutely love it, but we're in a town that the taxes are so unbelievably high. They're actually higher than our mortgage. So, and it's a huge house. So once, the kids are starting to leave and stuff, we shouldn't need that much house anyways. But neither here nor there. We can go and walk a labyrinth and use that as part of the meditation process to think about what the equinox should mean. So the other thing that I was talking about was what you can do to save money when you're doing a ritual for Mabon, or, you know, not even ritual. If you're not a ritual person, if you don't do ritual, that's fine. I happen to like rituals, especially on the Sabbath, because to me it helps me connect to the season. But it's, you know, not a requirement, obviously. Part of being a pagan, as far as I'm concerned, is doing what you feel connects you to spirit, whatever that is. But it's a good idea to flow with the seasons, and so that always should mean reflecting on what this season means. So in order to do that, I have stuff, and part of the thinking about what the season means to me is changing out stuff. So changing out my altars for the season, cleaning things up and getting things ready. Actually, around this time I start getting my ancestor altar out and more visible, and it gets a lot bigger. I have an ancestor altar all year round, but especially around Samhain time, which is coming, but I don't want to forget about Mabon, so I'm kind of focused on that. My ancestor altar gets a lot bigger, so I will show you that when I do that. I don't know if you saw this before. This was in one of my hauls. I got this awesome little bowl dish at Home Goods, and I have filled it with acorns from some of my nature walks, which acorns are a sign of all kinds of things. They're a sign of the growth that can be in a small seed. It used to be, when witches were persecuted back in the day, that if you carried an acorn or wore an acorn as a piece of jewelry, that was a silent symbol that you were a witch, so that you knew each other, but that other people didn't realize what you were and couldn't persecute you. So acorns are a big thing for us as witches. One of the other things I like to do is make my own smudge sticks. Because it's the harvest, all my herbs are starting to come in. And so use the herbs that you have in your garden. There's a lot of herbs that when you burn them smell absolutely wonderfully. Yesterday I made sage, rosemary, and some of them have that lime basil in it. I've never used that for smudge sticks, so I'm really curious as to how that smells and what that pulls out of the atmosphere. We'll see. Some of them I use some thyme, English thyme. I've used that before. That's great. I actually, probably today or maybe tomorrow, we'll be doing some fall ones where you can use a cinnamon stick. I have apple branches. My husband had to prune part of our apple trees, so we have lots of apple wood, so I can put a little piece of apple branch in there, or dried apple shavings, or all kinds of, be creative. Use what's around your yard. And you just put them into bundles, and I, from work, get cotton string that is 100% cotton string. They come in our laundry bundles. When we get laundry bundles, I'm in healthcare. From work, they're always tied with these, and I've told everyone to save them for me, so I have tons, and I use them when I use my sage sticks. They are not, you don't have to make them beautiful, guys. Look, mine are ugly, but they stay together and they burn great. Usually you want to dry them out, so it's usually about 2 weeks before they're really, really dry. So that's that. I did want to talk about one of the ways that I do ritual. I talked about the labyrinth. Yeah. Mabon this year falls on Friday. On the East Coast here, I believe it's Friday night, like 2200, so like 10 o'clock at night, I believe. There's all kinds of awesome recipes online and stuff, guys, too, for the Mabon dinner. My husband loves it because his Thanksgiving is always his favorite holiday anyway, so he gets two because we celebrate Thanksgiving for him and we celebrate Mabon for me, so he's psyched. So, you know, create something big or little. One of the things I do in my rituals to raise the energy level is to create music or rhythm. And that is one of the best ways I've found to raise that vibrational energy is through music, or just rhythm, drumming, or rattles, or noisemakers, or whatever. So I am always on the lookout at my garage sales. Never fails. I'm going to give it 2 seconds. Starting to go away. Oh yes, it's another helicopter. We've had a lot of helicopters lately. We didn't used to. Sorry. I always, when I go to garage sales, Goodwill, Savers, I always look for rattles, noisemakers, drums, that kind of thing, so that I have enough for whoever comes to ritual. Sometimes I'm doing ritual alone. I'm solitary sometimes. Sometimes I have almost a full coven of people that come. My family sometimes joins in. Sometimes they don't. So I always make sure I have a ton. One of the new ones that I got recently, isn't that great? I just love it. So I got that at Goodwill and I paid $2. And that is, I mean, well made. It's a natural gourd on the top and feathers, and I don't know what it's put on, but what a great noisemaker. And you only pay a couple bucks. This drum I actually got from Goodwill, I believe. It's a great drum. It works wonderfully. It's made well, and it's made from natural stuff. Not everything I have is made from natural stuff, but I didn't make it, so I feel like I'm recycling. If I don't, not everything I have is made naturally, but if it's not, I'm repurposing it. Here's another one, obviously made from natural leather material, rawhide, skin, something. And I know I got this at Goodwill. I'm not sure. I'm sure I only pay a couple bucks for everything I get there, guys. I don't pay a whole lot of money for stuff. This one is great. Has a couple little different tones. This one, the other tip I have for you is when you're looking for noisemakers, drums, rattles, that kind of thing, the kids section. A lot of times they're in with toys and stuff. And they're not really made for toys, some of them, but that's where they put them. This one I actually made myself, and I believe one of my sons painted it. It's just a dried gourd, so once it dries out. Now if you grow squash and gourds and stuff, just keep an eye out. If you keep them outside, if you bring them inside, about half the time they rot, and about half the time they dry out and will create great rattles for you. So this one we actually made ourselves. It was ones that we got out of our garden that just happened to dry really well and created dried gourd rattles. And we just paint them ourselves. So I bought this one at Goodwill or Savers, one or the other. Every single one I have. Look at that one, still has a tag on it, 99 cents at Goodwill. Great for noisemakers. Sometimes if they are natural gourds that someone has made a rattle out of and I don't like the picture on it, I just can paint over it. You don't have to keep the picture they have on it. Now you can kind of still see the picture that was on there. Sometimes they come in these really god-awful colors, and I want something a little bit more natural looking, so you can paint it right over them. Again, I didn't do anything to this one, and I'm sure I got it at Goodwill. Every single one I have, I did not buy new. I never buy it new. Look at this, is another one. God awful pink color. I'm sure I'll probably paint over that eventually. pink is just not a color for me for natural pagan ritual rites, whatever. This I got at Savers, I think. And it is so gorgeous, and it looks like a Viking artifact and stuff. It's totally plastic, so it's really a kid's toy. But to me, it looked great, and it makes a god-awful sound. All right, I'll do it once, but if my kids hear it, they come and start doing it to bug me. Isn't that horrible? It's awful, but it's a noise, and I always tell kids, it's a noise, and if you make noise at ritual, it raises the vibrational energy. So a lot of these have matches, like they're matched. Yes, I have a huge basket full of this. This one used to have, and I'll probably fix it eventually, used to have the string to it and had the ball on it, so you could do the tick, 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 you know, if you've seen Karate Kid from a long time ago. Showing my age again. There's another one. Really cute. Little noise. Okay, here's another one. Creates noise. Increases vibrational energy. A natural gourd that somebody carved. So I have another one of these that I just showed in my last video that they carved the top off of it and made a little box out of it. So I use it for an offering bowl, this one, just for noise. There's another gourd, beautiful gourd that has been carved that we use for noise. This is totally a kid's toy, I'm sure. There's a little thing in there to put your fingers in, but just a kid's toy. This is, oh, what is it called? It starts with a C. This is a natural gourd that is hollowed out to make a whistle. And it starts with a C, and I can't for the life of me remember what it's called right now. And that's a bell. So, oh, and I had, the other one is in there someplace. These are the Tibetan bells. Totally losing what they're called, guys. My brain is fried with my bells lost. But, so, you know, keep an eye out. I probably don't ever have to buy any of these again. But, according to my husband, I will never stop. Part of it is, if somebody comes for ritual, and I feel like the powers that be, the universe is telling me they need to bring something home with them to keep their vibrational energy up, I will give them away. And so I give stuff away a lot. I give away crystals when people come to my house that I think, oh, you know what, your energy is really off and you need to bring home. The other day I gave a friend of mine a black tourmaline crystal because he really needed to keep the negative energy away from him. So I gave him one of my black tourmalines. You know, that's why I keep buying stuff. At least that's what I tell my husband. So that is what I have to say for the day, I think. I know I had some other things to talk about. The one thing I didn't talk about is besoms. Besoms, however you want to say it. I was taught besoms, which is a witch's broom. I hope my basket doesn't fall over. It might. So keep an eye out at you know, your local Goodwill. This incredible besom I got at Goodwill for, I believe it was a little bit more. I think I actually paid $7 whole for something. But this is a besom I could ride on, for God's sakes. So this kind of besom is not normal to see when you go, but keep your eye out because you never know. My mother keeps her eye out for stuff for me. And the cinnamon brooms that come out a lot of time at Christmas time, they're great to keep for a besom. What you want to try to find in a besom especially is as natural as you can get. You can make your own, but with as many natural materials as you can get. Now my neighbor's mowing his lawn. And if you can recycle stuff, reuse stuff, repurpose, that's all the better. A lot of these behind me I made myself from wood that we have around the house, that when storms come and lightning hits and stuff, some of my big old maple trees here and stuff will lose branches, and I take that as an opportunity that the universe has given me some more wood, and I make walking sticks and staffs and stang. I have one of these, this one here, probably can't really see it too well because it's the same color, is a stang, and it's got 3 horns coming out, so I use that as a god symbol, especially around Beltane time and stuff when I'm doing an outside ritual. I put it in a bucket of sand and it stands right up and is the god symbol for me. Take the bark off of it, sand it down. You can I put mineral oil on mine. I gave everyone, 2 years ago, I gave everyone in my family a walking stick made from some of the maple trees that my grandparents have had here on their property forever. I have one of my favorites. This one is made from the lilac tree that my grandmother planted 80 years ago when she was here. Started to fall away and had to be pruned, and it's actually doing much better since my husband started taking care of it. But so the wood that was from there, that means a lot to me. That connects me to my grandmother very well. So if I want to connect to her, I pull that out and take a walk in the woods or something, and then I know my grandmother's coming with me. Just take a look around and keep your eyes out when you go to places during the year for other stuff. I can't tell you how many candles I have that are, like I have egg-shaped candles that I bought in July or December or something, especially on the off season. If you have like a bin for each holiday, you can put that in there and, buy cheaper. Buy stuff that's already been made. We have so much stuff in this world. I'm not saying I don't buy anything, guys. I do. But as much as I can, I try to, make it so we're not contributing to all the landfills. The other quick thing, as long as I'm talking about reuse, repurpose, is if you get a chance and you have Netflix, please watch. There's a documentary video called Chasing Coral. I actually found out about it from Wild Moon Woman, talked about another channel who had talked about this Chasing Coral video. And so I watched it from that, and our coral reefs around the entire world are dying, and we need to do something to change that. And it's a great documentary about it. Very clearly shows what happens and why, and we are the cause of it. So, we need to turn things around, or we're going to lose a huge part of our ecosystem that we don't even know what it will affect. So if you get a chance and you have Netflix, it's called Chasing Coral, and please watch it. I mean, if you are an empath or you are an emotional person, bring some tissues, because there are parts of it that are just heartbreaking. But I think it's so important to be aware of what's going on the planet and what we can do to change that. So please do. And I hope you all have a happy and blessed and wonderful Mabon. If I don't see you, I'm sure I will do another video before that. In fact, I know I will. I'll try to show you my Mabon altar when I get it all together. So, blessings.